In this tutorial in Microsoft Expression Web, we're going to look at how to test your web page in common browsers. It used to be that you had a few to pick from, and now you have many browsers, also many devices. What will your web page look like on a Kindle Fire? What will it look like on an iPhone screen? One of the things that you can do when you begin to try to figure out what the end product will look like is to be in the design view. We have a code view here. I'll click on the design view. Now in the design view, I have an approximation of what my finished product will look like, but you notice I also have some other odd things here. I have some boxes that I don't know what they mean, how they're defined. I have a menu system up here, but I can't see the components because they're buried deeply in the code. And this box here is supposed to have some motion in it, but it doesn't because it's the limit of what I have in my preview screen for this church's website. If you want to actually see what it looks like, there's two options. One is you can go online and you can look for browser compatibility in a Bing or Google search and go to a place like BrowserStack where they will, for a fee, it's like $30 a month starting, help you test your website in tons and tons of different applications so you can see what it will look like. The less expensive option is right inside of Expression Web. You don't have to go out and load any browsers loaded on your system, but any that you do have, you can put in a browser list. I click on File, and I can go Preview in Browser, and then I have several resolutions that I can pick from. Let's try Google Chrome to start with. And here I have menus with drop downs, and I have places I can go in my entire website, not simply the page I'm on, because I have some links to other places. And I have some motion here happening and other kinds of things. I can see my fonts, how they're rendered, how my bar is centered under the blue area at the top. Is that what I want? I want something else. So it's a nice way to do that. I close that. Let's try another one. File, Preview in Browser. Let's try Firefox. And my Firefox browser pops up, and I get to see again motion. Fonts are rendered slightly differently, but overall this seems to work. I'll close that down. I can also click on as many as I want. Now if I want to add or change to this list, I can click on More Browsers, or I can click on Edit Browser List. And this will let me pick the browser I want that's loaded on my system. And then I can pick the various resolutions I want. And then I can go ahead and add it. Now you have to know where the file is that launches your browser in the process. So if I click on Add here, it asks for a name, and then it asks for the command. The command is the executable file, the exe file that launches the browser, and I would need to go and find that in my file system if I were to load it this way. And so this is an example of how you can do it. You can adjust the different resolutions. If I want Firefox in an 800 by 600 option, I can add that one as well. So it's a nice way to modify the list. Let's go to one of them right now, and I'm going to do something. I'm going to change this web page. I'm going to go backspace and take out the space after the word world. And now you notice I have the asterisk, which tells me I have changed the page. Watch what happens when I try to preview in a browser. I'll go to Chrome, and it says you must save the changes before previewing your web page in the browser. Now I can turn this on to automatically do that for me, or I can do it manually. But if you run into this message, it's nothing big. It just means I need to have all the changes recorded before I can show you what it will look like. I'll click on OK. Now it will launch Chrome, and here I am. Let me give you something else you can see in a browser that you can't see in the preview page. I can see what this page will look like when the screen gets smaller. Let's say I'm showing this on a small tablet. What will it look like? This is all about responsive web design. Maybe I'm showing it on a cell phone. What will it look like? Do I like the way these words lined up when I have a small screen? And in order to make it adjust according to the size of the screen, you need to learn some techniques for what's called responsive design, which was created or became popular after Expression Web 4 was released. You can go back in and edit that way, but the default templates do not show responsive design. If I shrunk the screen, in many cases, what would happen would be I would truncate it and I would have a left and right bar and an up and down bar in order to view everything. So this has some nice things right here for responsive design, but it's not really what I want. As you notice, when I get this small, the right sidebar does not look very good. It actually removes it in this case, which may be what I want, but it helps you understand how to change your website in real time without making it live on the internet. And so previewing your finished product in browsers is really helpful. And this little tool, File, Preview in Browser, is a real nice option. And there's a multiple list here. Let's try this one here, where it will load several of them. And I have tabs at the top. Just goes ahead and loads them all at that resolution. And some nice features that Microsoft's built into their product.